So let me explain you the motivation of this paper and what motivated steps to be taken with an example. So Android Facebook app version 1.3.0 was released in 2010 and it was a disaster. So the app had bugs which would keep the phone awake. They would not let user turn off the phone. So this resulted in the whole battery of the mobile being drained in 2.5 hours, which is pretty less amount of time. And unfortunately, since Facebook is a huge brand, this version of app has been downloaded by around 12 million users. That's a pretty huge amount of customers for Facebook. And this has resulted in panic. A lot of users have complained. And this sort of problem has occurred due to abnormal battery drain. And this leads to losing of customer satisfaction and business as a result. So this sort of situations are of utmost priority to huge software companies so that they stay in business and they keep the customer satisfaction. So as you can see, below is a snapshot of a news article which has been released by Facebook saying that they have received complaints from lot of users regarding the battery drain and the fix has been provided, and version 1.3.1 has been released, and these changes have been made pretty quickly and are released, but nonetheless damage has been done. So this is a very critical and important problem to be solved, and that forms as the motivation for this paper. So basically, while facing these abnormal battery drain issues, these are the steps that are taken by the user, or at least they are expected to be taken by the user. Let's start from the top left. User observes battery drain, and with the help of a app called as battery usage, which is almost present in every Android or Apple device, so smart device, which would display the energy that is consumed by each app, as it is evident that Facebook consumes a lot of energy. Then the question that has to be asked is, do I use the Facebook often? So if the answer for that from user perspective is no, then user is unaware as to what needs to be done. If the answer is yes, then using another app called as spare parts, user needs to identify and confirm that Facebook indeed is causing these wake locks, which is not being able to turn off the monitor. And this would in turn lead into user asking themselves, can I stop using Facebook? Because now that user has confirmed that the Facebook app is causing the problem, user would be asking whether he or she could stop using the app. If the answer is yes, then stop using the app. If the answer is no, which is the case in most user situations, user need to find previous version package. As I have explained earlier, 1.3.0 has caused the problem. Maybe 1.2.9 has not caused the problem, because let's assume that it has been stable for quite some time. Only small enhancements have been added to 1.3.0. So if the user could switch it back to 1.2.9, then the problem wouldn't be there in the first place. So the question that has to be asked to the user is, can I find the previous version of the package? And if the answer is yes, then the user has to install Android debugger and install previous version. So that would be the solution, that would be the fix for this problem. And if the user could not find the previous version of the package, then user has to manually terminate the app. So this is a pretty complex procedure that has to be followed by the user in order to diagnose abnormal battery drain issues. So based upon the previous diagram, we can conclude that these are the operations that are to be done by the user. Firstly, user has to know how to use three tools, the battery usage, the spare parts, and then Android debugger. These three tools should be known to the user in order to diagnose this problem. And the next operation to be done by the user is remember recent updates, or at least user needs to know what is the version of the recent update that has been done, when it has been done, was this problem before or after that update, and then understand how wake lock works. So user needs to know what this problem is, how it works. If the user does not know the problem and how it works, then he will not be able to figure out. Then user is supposed to have access to older version of the apps. As I have told, 1.3.0 is causing the problem. Why not switch to 1.2.9? But user need to have access to the older versions. Some of the third-party tools or vendors, they'll not even make the older versions available. So in that case, user cannot get the older versions from anywhere. And then existing tools that are present cannot differentiate between normal and abnormal drains. So these tools that I have mentioned, which is battery usage, spare parts, and debugger, which are used at different stages of diagnosis, they will not be able to differentiate between whether this is a normal drain or an abnormal drain. And of course, tools are pretty complex for an average user. Average users just want to operate their devices. They do not want to get themselves involved in all this extra stuff which might go way over their head. So these are the challenges that are faced by users. We will discuss about ideal solution in the next video. Thank you.